For today's trip, the last of this Gourmet Getaway series, we head once again towards Cádiz, the capital of our neighbouring province. Back in the Jerez Los Barrios motorway, the trip is simple and comfortable, lasting just over an hour. This time, instead of heading to the heart of Jerez, we will sideline the city and make our way to Bodegas Luis Pérez, located in the Marco de Jerez land, some 15 minutes from the city centre and on the way to Sanlúcar de Barrameda. On a good clear day, the arid landscape is rugged and full of character, scented by the salty sea air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Willy, how are you?
Very well. Welcome
nice
to
to
Bodegas Luis Pérez.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm looking forward to visit your winery.
And we have a fantastic day today.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm thinking we take advance about the weather, and we're gonna visit the oldest vineyard we have here in the winery,
very good,
El Corregidor.
So we start like the wine. We start with vineyard.
Yeah, always. We need to
Fantastic.
come back to the terroir.
Fantastic. Let's go for it then.
Let's go.
The story of Luis Pérez is a story of meteoric and unprecedented success. The winery is proof that even in the very competitive world of wine, hard work, audacity and skill pays off. The Pérez family have devoted their efforts to wine for many generations. Their journey of adventure and innovation began in 2002, when they planted a red wine vineyard within a traditional white grapes region, and took up the challenge to show that Cádiz could produce quality red wines.
We started in the house. The house is dated in 1844.
Okay.
It's quite old. But when we started in 2002, it was a pretty small project. Just my father, my sister and me, working everything. We did everything in the vineyard, pruning, and with the barrel spinning. My back is still hard from that era. And we, had success in that moment. We go and grew up, and right now we needed to make, this big, really big modern building.
Side, all what you can see from here and the place where the vineyard is amazing. You have all the views all around you.
This is the second highest point in El Marco de Jerez.
Right.
That's why we can see all the ocean on the other side, the ocean and all the vineyards there in Macharnudo, Carrascal. This is really, in fact the name of the vineyard is Vista Hermosa. This building wants to represent this union between two worlds, the vineyard and the winery. And that's something that sadly happened the last 40 years because Jerez, break completely with the vineyard 40 years ago.
Yes.
And we need to come back and join both worlds. And we need to come back to the vineyard. The vineyard is in 90% of the wines. And I think we need to pay more attention, and hopefully there's a new movement around sherries with some young winemakers that want to come back to the vineyard.
Fantastic. So let's go to the vineyard.
Let's go. So this is our vineyard. We're gonna come back later, but what we have here is red wine, red vineyards. On the right we have Syrah, And then here we have Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot. This is Petit Verdot, and the national one is Tempranillo.
In 2013, Luis Pérez launched a series of premium sherries at El Corregidor farm within Carrascal estate. The combination of the purest Albariza soil with a 40-year-old Palomino Fino vineyards led to unique unfortified sherries. So we are again in high grounds.
Yeah, this is again, this is a line for me that measure the really high quality in the soils. And that line marks, it starts in 80 meters.
Right.
If you have, 80 meters, it's gonna be really, really good vineyard because the soil is gonna be quite pure. And this is my favorite parcel. Right now we own 125 hectares, but this one is my favorite. We have here the best grape for me. The sunrise is here in that direction. In fact, I don't know if the camera can show us, but this is the Sierra de Cádiz. So this is the sunrise, this is the sunset. So this is a cold parcel because as you know, the sunset get warmer the temperature.
And here we're talking Palomino Fino.
This is Palomino Fino, quite old clone, and this is like 50 years more or less, these plants. And what happened here is when you taste this grape, it's quite concentrated because the soil is in Albariza quite pure. As you know, the calcaric soils are really strong for the vines. And if you taste some grapes here, it's naturally 15% of the sugar for alcohol and a really, really high acidity. So the grape is really concentrated. So I have, as you know, if you have good fruit, you have good wine. And that's it for me. So if you have a really quality soil, a good place, good plants, and you leave it organic, growing wild, the fruit is gonna be really, really concentrated. You're gonna have low yield, of course, less kilos, but more quality. That's the trick for wines. It's quite simple.
Yeah.
So this is El Corregidor. So I'm gonna show you right now the old lagars. So this is the old lagar room for El Corregidor, really old.
And
so
you can already feel the temperature, constant temperature.
Yeah, and you can smell the history here. ¿Te atreves a subir?
Claro.
Let's go.
So these are the old lagares then?
These are really old, and we're still making La Barajuela here, one of our top wines. So the process is quite simple. You just need to press with your feet. And traditionally there's 4 people here, and you do this direction to provocar un tobogán slide, for the must to go down.
Because this would be full of grapes. Basically.
Yeah. In fact, there's 690 kilos,
right,
which is the measure one man can pick in one day. It's a really, really old traditional measure.
Okay.
And in fact, there are 60 of this. 60 of this is 690 kilos.
This would be carried on the backs?
Just like that. Traditionally, it's in a mula. You put, this is 11.5 kilos of grapes. And then you put here, outside, in Almijar.
In this straw.
The name is Redor. Traditionally, to have a fino, you can leave the grapes here 7 hours. When you put and you let the grape under the sun, the name is asoleo or soleo from sun. The grapes, how do you say, dehydrated. Just a little. Then if you lose water, you obtain more sugar, more concentration, because you are removing water. So traditionally you can gain like 1% of alcohol.
Right.
So that's why in the past the sherry wasn't fortified, because you had the asoleo, that in fact was mandatory until 1969.
Right.
For all the wines in El Marco de Jerez.
So would naturally reach that alcohol level without need of fortification.
If you traditionally reach it, for example, 13.5 of alcohol with 1 day of this, you can reach 15. And when 2 days, you can gain alcohol till 17.
Okay.
Even you can have a naturally oloroso. So once you have that time, even it doesn't matter 1 day, 2 days, just take the redor, come back here to the lagar and put it. Then you have all of this with 690 kilos. And when you press it, you have 1 cask of sherry.
Right, so the juice, the must will come through here.
Then, and when with a jar, you put it. But the magic thing here for me, this is really beautiful, is all the measurements, all of them are with the work of 1 man in 1 day.
Right.
So 1 carretada, 690 kilos, 1 lagar, which is exactly 3 meters plus, I would say, por 3 metros, 690 kilos, and when you press it, you have 1 cask of sherry.
The work of 1 man, 1 day.
Yep.